Welcome to Center Stage Podcast, and this edition is channeled towards International Women's Day. The theme for this year's International Women's Day is Accelerating Action. And I have with me today in the studio two delectable guests. And of course, I'm your host, Auntie Funke.
Dr. Adedayo Benjamin Lani, a renowned relationship and entrepreneurship mentor, TV host, and public speaker. She is the Pioneer Mandate Secretary for FCT Women Affairs Secretariat and the FCT Coordinator on Renewed Hope Initiative. A passionate advocate for women's empowerment, girl-child education, and social justice. Dr. Adedayo is also dedicated to supporting persons with disabilities and orphans. Her impressive career spans media, entertainment, events, and architecture, with numerous awards and recognition for her work. Please join us in welcoming the incomparable Auntie D. Hansatu Adebite, a dynamic force in leadership, advocacy, and social impact, with over 2 decades of experience in the non-profit private sectors. She has mastered the art of driving transformative initiatives. A Harvard Business School alumni and seasoned strategist with an unwavering commitment to diversity, inclusion, and women's empowerment, which has earned her prestigious accolades, including the Award of Excellence from the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs.
Thank you. The mandate. This is our mandate, yes.
And she is our Auntie Funke. I don't know. I'm wondering, how do we get to all this auntie thing? Cultural perceptions are so powerful.
But I'll tell you the story of how I got to Auntie Funke later. That today is going to take forever. I'll start with Auntie G. We are talking about accelerating action. And what I love about both of you is you are both passionate about women, be putting women in the spotlight, fighting for social justice, and just making sure that women are taking that pride of place in all that they do. So, Auntie D, what inspired your career path and your commitment towards women's empowerment? What's the inspiration behind all the wonderful work you do?
Becoming the best ultimate expression of me in spite of the very significant challenges and experiences that have contended with my emerging the best ultimate self. I'll be sincere with you. It's been a place of on the personal fight and to the place of now seeing that what my experience has taught me is to raise others like me, to raise others to go beyond borders, to go beyond limitations, just to encourage them, to build courage. That's why I say for me, courage more than confidence. Let courage build your confidence, because when you keep saying I'm going to need to be confident, something's going to come that's going to, just shake the confidence or just put a nail in it and like a wheel, it just bursts your tire. But with courage, you find the next strength, that strength to take the next step. So really, you ask me a question, I don't know. Henry Thoreau says, if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams, her dreams, and strives, gives everything to live the life, to create a lifestyle, happiness, the life they have imagined. There must be something you're imagining. It's not just dreaming, but keep reimagining, creating those images that powerfully drive you, preserve you, make you get up again. Where you gave up, make you get up. You advance confidently in the direction of your dreams and strive to live the life you have imagined. You will meet with success unexpected success in common hours. This, you don't even arrive where you say, oh, I've arrived. You're still on a journey.
We actually arrived.
That's another conversation. So, but the truth is, as we are on that journey, you begin to discover as you recover yourself. You begin to discover capacities, abilities, resilience, joy in the face of great fear. You become a builder of hope for others who have come to a hopeless place, and then in that you find recovery from your own hopeless place.
Look, I'm going to ask Hansa to pick up from something she said. So she talked about courage versus confidence and discovering to recover. How does that resonate with you?
I think for me, maybe I'll just go a bit personal. One of the things that strongly influenced my drive when it comes to my passion for women and just seeing women achieve something is just watching my mother while we were growing up. Of course, my mother was a single woman and she trained the four of us up to university level alone. And I just watched a lot of the things she did. So I could see courage. I could see she was knocked down so many times. I could see her pick up herself to, just confidently just continue what she needed to do, just to make sure that we were fed, we were educated, and so on and so forth. But one of the things that I felt she didn't really have was a good support system. I felt, especially in those days, single women were looked at with a certain sort of disdain. So I think just watching her always trying to prove herself, always trying to fight for her right, and so on and so forth, I think that for me was one of the things that made me say I must be someone that supports other women. But that's why I'm very big on networks. I believe so much in networks that support women on their journey to whatever progressive path they have chosen for themselves. So I think that's just one of the things that really drives me in my thought.
Thank you so much, Henry, your mom. Yeah, we do celebrate her. And I can hear from both of you, something that is really common and it also resonates with me is building the next generation. Building the next generation. In terms of challenges, I know climbing up this ladder or coming on this journey, emerging to be sure that we can arrive at a point. There must have been one or two challenges that almost made you stop in your tracks and say, Mi Oshemo, I'm tired. I'm not even sure I can progress. Auntie D, do you want to share one? Just one. Just one.
Like really.
But let me say something before while she's thinking about that one. The first time I saw Auntie D was many, many years ago. She held the mic at an event and I'm like, and when she spoke and the English came out, I said, wow. When I grow up, I want to be like this woman. The confidence, the English, the poise,
Exactly. The packaging.
The packaging. Even without saying anything, Auntie D, a lot of us are already looking up to you. But, you are here today because those challenges stood in your way, but you didn't allow them to bring you down. Do you want to share one? Maybe someone listening on this podcast is at that crossroad and is about to say, I'm not doing again.
All right. So this was how many years ago that you saw me?
That I saw you. 2006.
2006.
2006. Between 2000 and somebody,
almost 19 years.
That's almost 19 to 20 years.
Yes.
So what I'll tell you, all that you saw is now looking at you, who's out there looking at me and waiting for that answer. And I'm saying, I'm in that place too. You see, I pivoted so many, but I won't say so many times, but it's significant enough number of times from where you saw me to where I am now. And I'm clearly still on a journey. This was never the agenda, aspiration, ambition. No. I found myself where I found myself by the default of how I've just continued to evolve. Organically, sincerely, purposefully, and then with that courage and audacity of becoming the best ultimate version. And so it's like And so I didn't wake up one day and say, yes, I'm going to run for Senate. I'm going into politics. But it came to me like a conversation, a personal conversation with a conviction in the place of faith. And I found myself yielding to it and saying, okay. And I did run. And then I found out in it, you had, as a woman in the political sway, to learn to run and not run away. Even if you don't win an election, you don't lose your direction. You may have lost an election in terms of a position you were running for, but never lose your conviction. The conviction is what preserves the pedigree, the dignity of the direction in which you are going, the purpose. And that purposefulness was what regenerated in me the strength to keep on keeping on. So if I lost an election for personal gain or personal position, I found the grace, the courage to engage the next stage of the campaign, which was to campaign for my principal. And I did. And I did that against the more popular Tide and Swim. And both in terms of my faith, my religion, both in terms of my my placement, in terms of the geopolitics where I was. And I did that. And then I merged after that to political appointeeship. And then I've pivoted, coming to a place, if I got into politics by disruption, then I find myself pivoted into political appointeeship. Never having done this before. I worked in public service. Even as an entrepreneur, I was still not the regular cut. And then having to find myself in this kind of an environment where you must be structured by the structure, which I came in as a startup renegade. But you see, over the 1 year, 4 months, I've gone through an education that I could never have gotten in Harvard.
Wow. No pun intended, right?
This you
Education
learn
by
as you go.
experience.
You learn as you go. And then you got to decide again that I'm not running away. But I'm not running away. So what am I doing? How am I going to do this? As a woman of faith, the mother of Jesus, when she prayed, she said, how shall this thing be? So you find yourself in the how shall this thing be? Because it is this thing, let it be. Because we come in, but the thing is, I've come to learn is you must understand systems.
Yeah.
For you to begin to interpret the processes. If you come in I can believe all things, you do all things, praise God. But you see, I've learned that for you to be a transformer with a transformational implementation and model, first be transactional. Please understand what it is we are transacting with. So I'm saying all this to say that, for you who are out there, even that auntie that you saw, Auntie D, full of all that, packaged with all the, how they put it, with all star class and pizzas. Excuse me, please. Auntie D too is in a place where she's asking, how shall this thing be? So this is where you reset. You must reset. That's why I say courage is so important. The dynamic of courage, the dynamic of, I'm finding resilience in myself. And then fear. Fear is real. Fear is real. Fear is not the absence of courage is not the absence of fear. And fear does not mean that you lack courage. But it determines, once you recognize that you have fear, then you must determine how you are going to deal with it and not let it deal with you. You must be able to put boundaries to it. And that is what no one can give to you, is what you give yourself. Because that is where, in the place where we must reset ourselves to fight the fear, we give up. We melt away. We fall into depression. We become alternative personalities. We are broken pieces. But again, I say faith, sister support. You understand? Being categorical, more categorical. So I found myself now having to re-personify, my person, and understand that I mustn't allow someone else's projection of failure. There's so many things you hear, so many nasty things you hear about yourself that make you wonder that, hello, you understand? There's the imposter syndrome that makes you wonder, all these things. And the worst thing you can do to yourself when you're coming through such a challenging season is try and compare yourself with someone else. Oh, see, this person is doing it so adroitly. What's happening? I'm not together. I'm not experienced for, you're not experienced for this, but you know what? You didn't come there like an empty bag. You came with something. So look into your bag and find your next, I won't call it trick. Well, let's just go to say the bag of tricks. But there's something in you. There's something in me. There's something in every one of us that once we can find that one thing, it will become our weapon of mass destruction. I don't know. You got to whip that fear. We got to deal with it. So what I want to tell you is that, yes, even right now, I ask myself, how am I going to, and the real challenge is, it's not just going to do this, but to excel at this. How am I going to finish well and finish strong? How, even if I'm flapping right now, flailing right now, how am I going to push through this tide that's coming against me and come through to the place where I've beaten it, where I didn't drown in it. I just went so deep. I became an expert at deep water, diving, deep diving. Yes, deep diving. Thank you. I love that answer. I became, yes, because you must do the deep dive. We must do the deep dive. We must find it because it's the reality. And whatever the mental crisis may be and everything, I just want to encourage you. You are going through to come through. You are not going to break down in that place. You are going to come through this. One thing I do know about this, our dynamo here, is that when she went into that assignment and went into the assignment for 10 years as Wimby's ED, she was coming from a place where she was fighting as a woman, from her own personal battles. She was coming from that place. But we saw you become the profile persona of the CEO that sets the stage for CEOs. No, it's true. And that we must learn to be generous. Be truthful. I'm not in Yoruba. I'm not. This in South Africa. No. No. This is just the reality. And in every one of us, look at that. Oh, how many years ago you were saying if I could be like Auntie Dad, but where you're sitting center stage now. That's Auntie Funke who's hosting us. And we appreciate you and thank you. And you should have seen the amazing intentional way in which she brought us all up. Outside, there was a blue carpet with flowers. There was my image in the reception. No, not just a picture. It was on the screen. It was there on the screen. Everything for who? Just look at this. Just for two of us coming in for this podcast and interview. She celebrated us. And in celebrating us, we are celebrating what? International Women's Month. International women of every color, creed, race, religion. I have a friend in the studio with me, Victoria. We're here because we are celebrating who we are as women who go through to come through. Yeah. So what can I tell you? When you say accelerate action, you are the principal actor. All right. Look at your script again. If you need to scribble something out and rewrite it, do your lines different from what they've given you. Please go ahead and do it. Empowerment begins with empowering you. Empowerment is meant for you first. And then once you are empowered, you empower others. You may never meet, I may never meet you that's watching me, but from now on, for the rest of your life after this, let me prophesy. You are going to be empowered to become the best ultimate expression of the you that you are. And me too.
And me too.
Yeah. Hashtag me too. And amen.
Thank you so much, Auntie D. And if you've been listening to Auntie D, I feel like I've just come out of a therapy session. where she's spoken to the core of some of the issues we all deal with, especially as women. And Sati, there's something about you. If we wake you up at 12 midnight and we ask you to talk about gender, talk about women, you've got it. So I've got a question for you. What do you think the impact of not having gender inclusive brilliance in leadership and governance? What's the impact? And I hope we won't stay here for the whole day.
No.
We don't lie. We'll take the next lecture.
Let me just mention 3. Number 1 is that there's a very high economic cost to non-inclusiveness of women in decision-making positions, especially on boards of organizations, and just having that power when it comes to having a voice. The reason is because when you look at our population, we're over 200 million, and technically about 49% of that, so that's over 100 million women. So that's one. When you look at the research that the Nigerian Bureau for Statistics did in 2022, they established that 70% of Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. That translates into 133 million Nigerians. And of that population, the highest demography are women. And so what that automatically says to us is that we have a poor society and women are worse hit. One of the reasons that happens is because of that absence of strong, inclusive voices on decision-making tables. And I believe that that is one of the things that has worked against not Nigeria, but Africa as a whole. Because women by nature, when they're on decision-making tables, and I'm sure the mandate secretary also experiences it, they're not thinking about themselves alone. They are thinking about their families, their children, and then the community. So when they're bringing in change, and we have examples even in Nigeria, for example, when Mrs. Awoshika went in to be the chairman of First Bank, one of the things they were looking at is that most women didn't have access to finance because they don't have collateral. And so she they created the first GEM product. And one of the things they have there is that women can access loans without collaterals. The only reason that came to be is because it was women driving that narrative. So that is just one. I think the second one, as we are also seeing it, is that the issues that are very pertinent to women, and again, I would say I'm sure the mandate secretary is even seeing them in FCT, be it maternal health, things around the children, just nutrition, even looking at just even the basic things, wash, hygiene and all that. You will see that most of these social problems exist because if there's a budget for something, people are not thinking of all these small. When I say people, I don't want to be seen as being gender insensitive, but the truth of the matter is that that's not their priority. They're looking at the bigger projects and the big stuff. So it is a woman on a table that can stand and say, let's divert this budget to this or that, and to push through to make sure it happens if she is given the opportunity and has the support of others on the table to drive that. And then the last thing is that the less women we have on the table, decision-making table, and we're seeing it a lot in politics, the more the kinds of policies that we need and the domestication of these policies don't come to be. And so we can even have policies that are sitting on the shelf, but they've not been implemented. So I think that speaks for itself.
Maybe your first point about making sure that, is it the first or the second? But I don't even know. But the idea is that women need to be able to participate, to be able to be seen, to be heard, and to be given that room to hear their voice. If we talk about mentorship, what can we do differently? There are a lot of young people who are really keen to grow, who are looking for opportunities where they can be mentored, where they can learn, where they can hone their skills. But I'm not sure our society today has defined that structure of mentorship. And sometimes I feel, I might also be guilty. I feel that sometimes we pay lip service to mentorship because someone can approach me and say, please, can I be your mentee? And I say, yes. But what does that even look like? How can we mentor young women differently? And Titi.
The first thing, I'm still going to revert to the first answer I gave about becoming the best ultimate version of you, is becoming a model. Not everyone can be mentored by Auntie D. And even the ones who come around me, if I don't have a structure for it, I don't. So the best way to be mentored is to see what you like modeled. And then, you see what you see on a model, ideally, you go and look to purchase in your size.
In your size.
In your size.
Okay.
Your color with your flair. Exactly. We must see mentorship not so much as the fact that I am with Auntie D, I'm living in a house, I'm with her every day. No. You must be able to see certain things. I look at Auntie Ibuku Abushika.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever sat with Auntie Ibuku, interacted with her, the total span of my lifetime, though I know her and all that, it won't even be up to 6 hours. I know there was one time I intentionally went to look for her for 1 hour. She just managed to give me 1 hour of her time. She shared with me, some of her life experience. I just allowed to drop. I've not had an opportunity to go to Dubai or any of those amazing summits that she hosts. I'm based in Abuja. I am challenged with the busyness of the demands that come at me that already challenge my own availability to be a mentor, effective mentor. So one thing I do believe, like I look at Auntie and I look at her values. I listen to her. And for me, modeling, pushing my life in the direction of the values. I don't know her personal. I don't know what her personal day-to-day persona is. But the persona that she profiles has become for me a persona that mentors me. What is it that shapes my mentality? Now, in becoming an understudy of someone in a more deliberate fashion, then you must be willing to serve. In the place of volunteership, so that you manage your expectations and you do not place a demand on the perceived mentor in such a way that it tilts your perception of that person. And from being a mentor, you see them as a tormentor or somebody who does, you just don't see, you cut the value down. So sometimes that place of being more of a myth, well, not a myth, you rather than being demystified and working with the model, become the model. Do you understand? And then when you have the opportunity to mentor from a position of integrity. You may only be in my life for a day or a year or a month. But even if things go south, may there be an integrity that you will always be able to refer to. That you were able to deliver in such and such a way. Nobody, I'm not perfect. We're not perfect. No, if you are looking for perfection and looking for a mentor, please stop looking. You will not find that person. But if you are looking to be invested in from the person's values, in the first place, what attracted you to them? If it was the outward you went for, I don't know, it's that superfluous context. So you've got to, before you become an understudy, study what you want to understudy. Study. Do you have the time? And now look around them. What do you see their strengths to be and their weaknesses? And you don't go to a mentor just to receive of their strength, but to serve their weakness. Because they need you more than they may ever be able to tell you. They need you.
Never thought about
Yeah.
it like that.
They need you more than you. You understand? Probably they can't tell you that all the time. In fact, they may never tell you that. They may be too vulnerable even. Did you see people come to you and they just see all together put out? Really? Excuse, it's also packaged. You understand? I'm not that techie, but yes, I'm a content person. Want to be able to do. What do you think has taken me so long to hop onto LinkedIn and get onto all that and everything and do all that? Because I'm still hesitant. How do you do that? How do I make sure? How do I follow this up? I haven't even sorted out following my own, networking base, just doing WhatsApp, not to talk of getting. And when you are vulnerable, you are vulnerable.
Yeah.
So if you can, you are there to also serve by helping a mentor. Helping a sister out. Yes, it's the mentees, but help your sister out too. You understand? So we do peer mentorship. You can do mentorship the other way. You can do mentorship for someone who's older than you. Do you understand? By giving them the respect and the space. So mentorship, what were you saying, can be challenged by the fact that you think there's more lip service to it. Many times it is what it is because even the one you look to has not been trained. Who is a trained parent? No, who was trained to be a parent? Where's the curriculum? Who was trained in marriage before they got married? This is something you have to organically develop, give yourself to, lean into, and begin to shape and define. The more you look at it, prune, and keep working on that. I'm still praying that I come to those years. You understand? Further ahead sooner than later. But more sooner now than later. Where truly, I can kind of transit into that place where, yes, that's more sedate Antidio is able to be that model mentor. Because we do have a generation that needs it. I love what I see happening between myself and my daughter, and I watch how she watches me and then becomes more than me. Because I try to tell her my truths. Both her and my sons, so that with my sons, you are able to give that woman in your life that space, that opportunity, and then also, to understand, not just me, understand your dad working, because it can't be easy for my husband to be my husband. You understand what I'm trying to say, in the sense that you look at it, not that I'm a, how do I put it? Not like I'm some Dracula woman or something, but there is a pressure when you have a wife like me who works a lot of visible pressure and everything. So I believe that is desiderata. It is the truth that makes us free. And so mentorship is something you keep working. I keep working. My prayer, like I say, is just to become the best ultimate expression and model of a Dio Benjamin Lani before I transit, and that I'm able to articulate. I was just sharing with Hansi how, for me, the lessons I'm learning in the now, in this year and 4-5 months that I've been in this pioneer mandate position, are lessons I must really start writing now. From this, there's no question that I have to come to the place where I write, I direct, I instruct Christians who want to go into politics, women who want to go into politics. If anybody wants to go into politics, Christian, non-Christian, anybody, don't let me talk to you about the things you have to be real about. Politics, they say, is a dirty game. You have to, but politics takes your being real. And if you will listen, if you will pay attention, if you will see this, you can understand this, it can help you to be better at engaging it than what we see being engaged the way it's being engaged. And we really have to set up support systems. This is about having women on board, making decisions. It's needed, because even for women, the women programs are not seen as capital projects. Who's going to give money to women? Budget is like a zero budget. It's a no budget. It's like just a budget, just indulge. So if we do not create budgets, do you understand? Create networks that help to build, like we're talking about, to the supplies, the support for all of these things that women are doing. We're not going to go very far. I'll be sincere with the politics, be able to work the policies, be able to work the politics. But the truth is, keep pursuing the truth, while at the same time find the handles to transact. We have to build better transactional models with men as with women, with the system and out of the system. We have to do it. So this year for the Federal Capital Territory, here at home, accelerating action means that we're going to be coordinating a women's empowerment engagement in 3 unique ways. One is we're going to be carrying out a training for female mechanics and drivers. We want to be able to, in terms of redefining the perceptions around Women's Day, do something that is more hands-on, perceived as a male-dominated professional space, and one in which really is about skill set, because to empower a woman with skills is to empower her in the place of her economic advantage. And for the Federal Capital Territory, there is something about knowing you have a highly skilled professional female mechanic or driver. And then we also have an engagement and collaboration with Julius Berger. And Julius Berger with the CSR this year are partnering with us, and we're giving away sewing machines and grinding machines, not just giving them away vicariously, but we found women to match them with who need this intervention in their businesses. So fashion designers or young girls, students who are also working to pay their way through school, right? And we're able to put that through. And then with SunTrust Bank, they're also giving out POS machines. We're working with them. They're also helping to sponsor the projects we're doing with the women drivers. And then Access Bank is going to be doing something special for the women with their own women products that they have for empowering them through financial literacy, but also through opportunities that have properly placed their investments. The Renewed Hope Initiative of Her Excellency the First Lady is one which has invested 50,000 naira each in petty traders, has given women items like the grinding machines, cookers, freezers, and generators. And so we're now scaling this through the kind of interventions that we're bringing. So for us, the whole, starting with that on the 5th of March, yes, we're going to be doing the press conference and the presentations. And then basically we're going to just turn the whole of the month into a full celebration. Last year it was with the Abuja accelerators from the UNCSW. I intend to scale that, but we'll come out with a profile, a dossier of what we've done and what we're looking at in going forward.
And today you left us with another nugget. Keep pursuing the truth where we find the handles to transact. That's really deep, and thank you so much. Auntie Hansi.
I'm Hansi. I'm Hansi.
Any final words from you? No, we are still talking about women, accelerating action for women's equal opportunities.
I think I just want to mention 3 things. The first is believe in yourself. Most of the time we're looking for validation from others. And one of the things we have to realize is that people will always have an opinion about you, irrespective. So it is not what you do or you don't do. They have an opinion. So just believe in yourself and just love yourself for who you are. See yourself as a work in progress. You're not yet perfect, but we're all working towards our perfection. The second thing is that you will get a lot of no. So many of them. People telling you can't do this, no, you can't have this, or no, you're not the best fit for this. And with every no, it should push you to take a step towards your yes. Because if you allow the no's to ground you, you just create an atmosphere of defeat for yourself. But if you allow them to challenge you, then you take a step to say, even though I'm getting a no, what can I do to walk towards a resounding yes that will not just bring an applause, but it will give me the satisfaction of I have achieved what I set out to achieve. And then the third thing is trust your instinct. You know, a lot of times we second guess ourselves. And when we second guess ourselves, we either don't take any action or we are so full of fear that we think we're not right. So we take somebody else's advice and opinion. And sometimes it makes us miss our mark. So one of the things I've come to realize is that, especially women, we have a lot of intuition. Just trust your instincts. And you'll be surprised that if you believe more in the fact that you have strong, solid instinct, you will get to your desired destination.
So with every no, see every no as a step towards your yes. And it's not just a yes, not anyhow yes. A capital Y, a capital E, and a capital S. And a lot of us today, we've come to where we are, having the opportunities and the boldness and the courage and the confidence to overcome obstacles. So what are you waiting for? So once more, join me to appreciate the mandate secretary.
The mandate.
The mandate. I fondly, and other people also fondly call her Auntie B.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
making time. You know how busy you are. We know how much of yourself you put into this position. And we are all solidly behind you. You have our support. In any way we can continue to collaborate. Auntie Hansi.
Hansi.
I've implicated.
We have not crossed over.
You're not there yet.
You are not there yet.
But thank you so much. You and I know the circumstances leading up to this. I really want to appreciate you for your genuine commitment, to supporting women and for just showing up. And this podcast, I think, so far, maybe it's the best in the series that we have. Faulty, thank you so much.